Is it just me or these always Well, we don't even have a quorum, so I don't know how to do this. It's gonna be a short meeting, Craig.
Yeah. 2 weeks. Yeah, Brandon.
You got the most Catherine, you got.
The
degree.
Yeah, we're on.
There's,
Brad's gonna be up with me afterwards,
You're-
but he's going to get first or something. I'm gonna go ahead, Redstone. Right after that, we're going into Winter Rock. He's got it all mapped out where we're gonna go. And he said we're gonna 16, 15. Yeah, right. That's probably.
Microphones are working again. You have to get close, I'm sure. You can hear somewhat, but they're
So yeah,
still.
well, and it was.
Did we get our citizens?
At least the microphone system.
Well, I'm just gonna call the order and then, see what we do.
I told him to bring kids, because it's good friendly and everything. I told him to bring it up.
I'd like to call to order the Village of Middleville Council meeting for February 24th, 2026. As lean as it is, I suppose, Heather, let's just do roll call for now, and then we'll make it official after that.
You can, without a quorum, you can go through all items except for anything that needs
Vote,
a vote.
that's fair.
Kevin Smith,
Here.
Steve Baldry.
Here.
Robert Bishop.
Here.
John Osterbahn. Mackenzie Peters.
All right, I suppose what we could do is excuse Mr. Osterbahn and Ms. Peters.
I'll make a motion.
You can't make a motion.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, we can't do any voting.
Nope.
Never mind. Those silly mechanics I think of meetings. Well, then we can't do anything other than go through the agenda, and I think,
You can do the pledge,
Staff reports.
staff reports, et cetera.
all right. Anyone else? Stand with me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, we can't approve the agenda or the consent agenda. Can open it up for public comment. Any persons attending may comment on any subject. Please state your name and direct your comments to the chair. The Village of Middleville rules of procedure prohibit the village council from debating or discussing issues with the public at this time.
Hello, my name is Andrew Beck. I'm at the Middleville Lions Club. Just wanted to kind of bring it back up, 4th of July, on the concept of kind of handing that off to the village. If there would be a contact person for me, someone that I can work with on this. I'll keep it short, but you get the gist of it. Someone that I can work with to train up. It's really easy. It's a couple phone calls, a couple emails, and it comes together nicely. All the financials are handled in between the township and the village and a couple outside companies, businesses, individuals. So it's really streamlined. It's easy to handle. Just wasn't sure if that might stay directly in the hands of the village or maybe the DEA or just try to start a little spark there. Thank you.
Perfect, thanks. Anyone else? We're gonna go backwards on the agenda. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Or
The motion with, support, any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Going to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of February 10, 2026. And the approval bills on February 18th to the amount of $75,371.84. Or
All right, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of approval of minutes of the regular meeting of February 10, 2026, and the approval of bills as of February 18th, 2026, in the amount of $75,371.84. Could I please have a roll call?
Steve Baldry.
Aye.
Mackenzie Peters. John Osterbaum.
Aye.
Robert Bishop.
Aye.
Kevin Smith.
Aye. Motion carries, thanks. All right, well, it would appear that Brandon isn't here either, so. Oh, you're here.
I'm here.
Okay.
All right, so I'm Brandon, I'm Katie Mendez with Williams Works, and this is our report for all the middle projects that we have going on right now. So the Paul Henry Trails, the MDOT TAP is still tied up with the tribal review, but we've been reaching out to Mrs. Dennis for updates. The delay has torpedoed the MNRFT grant for 2025, and we will reapply for this year for it and to keep the 2027 construction if it all goes well. The Main Street parking, that's part of the Railroad Street project, which was given, awarded to BNL. They were the low bidder. Irving Phase 1 will inspect the punch list in the spring and see if anything needs to be completed after that. Railroad Street, the council has approved BNL for up to the amount of $560,000. Prices submitted for the hydrant, the T's that Eagle was requiring would bring the total up to $567,492. If acceptable, we can move forward with the contract with BNL. Their cost was just a few thousand more than we estimated. The streetscape features on Railroad Street bid was at a cost of $67,760. Irving Phase 2, the water main is all in. All water main connections have been made. They've been installed 500 feet of the road subbase, and the tank is back in service. The road will be, and the conduit will resume once the weather improves a bit and the ground thaws. Mid-Villa, the official startup has still not occurred, but it was running on a temp set of last fall. The wastewater treatment plant, the tank corners are leaking. The necessary rebar drilled into the connection of the tank walls to the existing tank have created small fissures. Sludge can seep through. The plan is to hire a contractor to seal the corners from the inside with a membrane when the tank has been emptied this spring. The water supply expansion, Eagle has sent the test well inspection request package in December. The on-site meeting was held on January 14th. Eagle said that they would issue a test well approval letter in 2 weeks from the meeting, but it may take longer. I hope to have the test well approved by mid-February. And now we are past mid-February and we do not have the test well approval letter. We may have it next week or in 2 months. The DPW building addition staff has confirmed that the draft plan submitted last month is how they would like to move forward. Williams Works has requested a budget and a schedule with Century A&E to perform the necessary AMEP work to make this into a constructible set of plans. And Main Street streetscape planning, Malia is currently working on the streetscape features. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Getty will not be attending this evening. Mr. Powers.
don't know if you can actually see it or not. For the owl.
Yeah.
Good evening. So, the subject today is a consideration of ordinance 2145, ORV regulation amendment. Recommendation for the village council, take one of the following actions. Either one, move to adopt ordinance 2145, move to reject ordinance 2145, or move to postpone consideration of ordinance 2145 to a date certain for review and direction to staff. I have included suggested motions there below. A little bit about the background. In 2001, the village adopted ORV regulations. In 2021, ORV regulations were revised via ordinance 2118. In 2023, following a petition and subsequent council discussions, an ad hoc committee was formed and staff worked with the village attorney to prepare draft provisions. On March 5th, 2024, draft ordinance 2139 was presented to council. No formal action was taken. Council subsequently directed staff to prepare an ordinance rescinding the existing ORV regulations. Ordinance 2140 was adopted, rescinding prior village ORV regulations as a result of ordinance 2140. The village currently has no local ORV ordinance in effect. ORV operation within village limits is governed by the Berry County ORV ordinance. Under the county ordinance, ORV operation on village streets and right-of-way is prohibited unless expressly authorized by a village ordinance. The county ordinance does not regulate ORV use on private property within village limits. Ordinance 2145 has been prepared to reestablish village-level regulation of ORVs. The ordinance permits ORV operation on designated local streets and county roads within the village, subject to conditions and consistency with an adopted ORV route map. Before you is what is being proposed as the ORV route map, which would be added as an exhibit and could subsequently be amended to this ordinance. Prohibits ORV operation on state and federal highways except for lawful crossing, regulates ORV use on private property, establishes operational requirements including speed limits, safety equipment, licensing, and age restrictions, provides enforcement authority through municipal civil infractions, establishes an ORV fund for allocation of collected fines, requires maintenance of a master ORV route map. If adopted, ordinance 2145 would restore local authority over ORV operation and establish defined safety, nuisance, and enforcement standards within the village. As noted, the fiscal impact, there is no direct fiscal impact associated with the consideration of this ordinance if adopted. Potential impacts could include administrative oversight, preparation and posting of route signage, enforcement coordination, and administration of the ORV fund as required by the ordinance. Any financial impacts would depend on implementation decisions and enforcement levels. This is, as mentioned, this was worked through the ad hoc committee and discussed with law enforcement, and what you see before you is reference to what was presented at the previous meeting with facts and findings related to that. Hope I can help to answer any questions, comments, or concerns you may have.
ORV, it's only the more the two wheels, not golf carts.
Golf carts would not be included as off-road vehicles. We do define off-road vehicles, and if golf carts is considered, that would have to be a separate matter.
So what is the policy with the golf carts?
So they're currently not permitted. No, the only ordinances we have on the books are related to off-road vehicles and snowmobiles.
What's the reason why this golf carts never been brought up?
Most likely because I don't believe we've had any issues with golf carts. I believe the only times that there's been items related to golf carts was corresponding with some type of event or public activity. you know, to the best of my knowledge, there hasn't been any complaints related to people utilizing golf carts on public roads recently.
You did mention in there minimum acreage. I was just trying to find the part of the, I didn't see that specifically.
So absolutely, the previous section of the ordinance, let me go through this here.
Is there 2.5 in there?
Because, yeah, I know previously we had it listed that you had to own at least 5 acres for it to be on private property.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
2 minutes, yeah.
My figure sticks in my head.
So while going through this ordinance, the section 66-260 refers to the sections in relation to agricultural use. However, there is no other stipulations pertaining specifically to private properties. Only item I can add to that is being familiar with parcels within the village outside of schools and municipal properties. There are very few properties that are 5 acres or larger in the village.
I mean, it doesn't explicitly say that. So
No, the previous ordinance did.
the previous ordinance, that didn't carry over, and I only,
ORV may be operated upon unimproved or vacant private property if not less than 5 acres in size.
where's that?
Section 66-254, ORVs, other personal use, section A.
There it is.
Yep.
Under other permitted uses.
Yeah.
Good save, Robert.
Well done, Mr. Bishop. All right.
Do you have a few questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Under H, under definitions, if I'm reading this right, vehicle means a motor drive off road recreation vehicle capable of cross-country travel, so on and so forth. It says a multi-track or multi-wheel drive vehicle, a motorcycle, or related two-wheel vehicle, a vehicle with 3 or more wheels, an amphibious machine, a ground effect carrier pushing vehicle, hovercraft can be good, or other means of transportation may be in an ORV. So like motocross, motorcycles, that type of thing, could still be an ORV.
So
It says motorcycle.
and that's part of the reason why this was written that way, since it's specific in regards to any vehicle that may not have a license plate, which its intended use is likely to be off-road.
So,
Not being, for agricultural type uses.
so a motorcycle with a plate can drive just like a car then.
So, motorcycle with a license plate, is permitted on the streets.
Now you get the RVs plated, but that doesn't matter.
So if the ORV is plated, it's permitted on, public roads. Just, few of the, challenges, you know, with getting a ORV plated, you know, that I've been informed can potentially cost up to $15,000. So some of the times that may not be something that people are looking at. And I do believe there's some members of the public that may be able to help with giving them more guidance to, you wanted to ask them more clarification on that. 'Cause I personally have not customized an ORV for street use.
Because if they're 4-wheel sidewinders, or over the road, which can plate them in roads, then if they're plated, then it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, the definition, I think what we're trying to accomplish here is plated or other, where they may not be, but, are not being used on, within these guidelines. So,
This would give the village the authority to regulate the
Regulate.
usage of non-licensed vehicles on its public streets rather than falling on the county in regards to what their regulations imply.
Okay, so help me out here. A couple years ago when we talked about this,
Yes.
it was, I don't know if it's a fact or not, that unless I had plates on it, I couldn't park it on the public parking lot, front of business, so on and so forth. How does this address that?
So this in no way says that they cannot use public spaces. This allows them to, similar to like anyone with a license plate. For one, that the intentions of this isn't necessarily to limit or deny people from visiting commercial businesses, because certainly the anticipation is that they may be coming to our downtown, because M37 is not a permitted street. So that, that's something that we certainly, need to be mindful of. If we do see an influx of more people visiting our downtown, in regards to how many parking spaces we may require. But, as of right now, is not anticipated to be a significant impact.
I just want to make sure that they can come use the.
They can come.
They can come use the.
If this ordinance is approved, you'll note on that map that Main Street is there. So if they were to park the vehicle, it would be permitted as long as they comply with parking regulations.
Okay. And the other one I got is this speed limit. In the village is 25 and 35, as long as they go posted speed, is that okay?
That's correct.
I don't know what a side by side or something is to 35 mile an hour. Okay, never drove one.
Yeah, I know it says in here that speeds greater than 25 miles per hour or a lower posted ORV speed limit. In case if there was, nuisance concerns, because the enforcement of this ordinance is going to require posting of signage so the public can be made aware. But looking at the streets, you can see the ones that are selected, are not streets with higher speed limits.
I mean, most of the village is 25, so
Absolutely.
I don't know if we need to assign, try to make it so it's enforceable easier for the police departments.
I mean, I think that's the ultimate goal, is that we just never, we wanted to nail down the enforcement side of it, so that we had there were clear boundaries on it. So that everybody could just understand it and read it and agree that this is our ordinance.
So then how do we know that the safety equipment is proper?
I mean, it's,
There's no inspection.
Are you referencing like a specific piece of safety equipment or you just mean in general?
Oh,
So like, for example, anything,
like, our police have to visually know when someone's violating the law, yes?
so I can't answer that question, as in like a yes or no. I would need like details in regards to what you're referencing,
Well,
because there's various degrees in which law enforcement has to apply, and I may or may not be qualified to answer those questions.
okay, so you're driving down the road as a law enforcement officer, you see an ORV, they're not wearing helmets.
So
Now what? Because visually you would have to say, oh, yep, that roll cage is for sure certified to be the proper type. Or you'd have to pull them over and check. Which our police aren't going to do. So, I mean, I looked at the numbers for 2024, when we told them to pull people over and make contact and document it for us, and they documented 4 stops.
Mhm.
So I have a hard time believing that they're gonna be able to be capable of and want to do some sort of inspection that, you know, make sure that these things are in compliance.
So the only thing I can say about these in regards to compliance is in the state of Michigan, similar to when you go to the Secretary of State, they don't verify whether your brakes work or other, safety features. These give them degrees to be able to potentially determine if there is a safety concern. That's the reason as to why these are spelled out, is because you're correct that, they are not, getting these pre-certified except for what is done in the factory, similar to your automobiles.
Well, similar to an automobile, when you go to you do certify to the state by it's, saying that, you're registering it, that
You register it, but they don't verify if
they
it's
don't
safe.
verify, but it is on your word to that is the case.
I think it's allowed.
Very similar to this.
Catalytic
yes.
converter, you can't see it, but you know that you have to have a car with a catalytic converter, it's law. But cops aren't crawling under cars to verify that. The assumption is, to your point, is that when you register and you make it, when you're on the road with a plate, that you are attesting.
Yep.
And I don't,
You're
I mean, I
testing
think
that the
that there's
vehicle's good and all of that.
the boundaries that are set within this ordinance pretty much put that attestation in effect. In very similar way that we would with our car, that we have working seat belts, that we have.
And then beyond that, the other issue I have is that if you take the word ORV out and you just ask people in the village, which I've done, do you want to allow unlicensed vehicles on the road? The answer is never yes. They're always saying no. And then we say, well, the ORV drivers want to do it and they're okay with not having insurance and it's their liability then. They're still not okay with that. So I don't know how I would go to the constituents here and say, yeah, I'm okay with it, because I'm not.
The only thing I can say about the safety features is the only way that I'm aware of in regards to how, law enforcement could play a role in that is if the village required registration of unlicensed vehicles, which we've seen neighboring communities that have done that for golf carts and other items that may or may not have had varying degrees of success. It's not something that was in this ordinance, but to the best of my knowledge, that's the only way that unlicensed or unregistered vehicles, law enforcement could preemptively through village registration.
And I don't think this is a green flag for blanket ORV use as much as I think it's meant for a baseline for enforcement and giving a precedent to pull somebody over in the event that they are breaking the ordinance and, or the law. So I mean, it may not necessarily be prescriptive into the unknowns and to the things that we rely on people's common sense and their appetite for risk. Obviously, we don't want people driving unlicensed, unregistered vehicles on the road, but I don't think that changes the fact that happens no matter whether it's an ORV or a car or anything else. So there's ordinances. This particular ordinance just gives us a framework that we don't currently have that I think is a point of contention, not only for the residents who don't want to see illegal ORV use, but I think it's also a problem for law enforcement to be able to have a baseline in which to make the decisions. So we eliminated the old one. We went back to the county. There are challenges there. And now I think that this is really just a very clear.
Say the biggest challenge is being that the ordinance, as we mentioned, the enforcement aspect, is that the village will be the entity who will be posting signage in regards to when or where ORVs are allowed. So currently utilizing the county ordinance that people may not know that ORVs are not permitted in the village. We're having our own ordinance and, being able to determine which streets they're allowed on. We can educate the public and letting them know where they can properly utilize their vehicles without the possibility of county changing legislation that may end up, determining things. Any other questions I can help with on this, or?
Sergeant Ware's not here, but anyways, is it, I know we're not supposed to converse with people in the audience. But maybe we could talk to a couple of professional witnesses, how would that be?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
Joe and Andrew, if you bought your side-by-side or whatever your ORV is, if it had a canopy on it or or roll bar, it says right on there, it meets certain specifications and what have you.
And the ordinance states that too, sir. If you don't have the helmet on, it has to have a roll cage. You have to have eye protection if you don't have a roll cage, helmet. It's very specific in the ordinance.
And when you register your ORV, do they do a safety inspection or anything on it? They do a thing?
It's put together at a factory. It meets compliance.
Secretary of State, you don't have to have a police report or anything to get it registered.
Correct. They're legal in the 50 states.
So it's very similar when you license it, or you put a plate on it, you, like a car, you're attesting that it's street legal and you have to go through that process.
Yeah, but so, and the point of not having to go through that whole process of getting it plated is simply that it's allowed in other places here in Michigan. We are not the first ones to have this conversation. There are other communities where it supports them through the winter time, especially with the fall color tours. That was huge in Cadillac this year, absolutely huge. Over 300 people out on the trails doing the right thing, looking at all the different colored trees. The Cadillac actually came up with a map and a route and all of that stuff. And as we sit in the northwest corridor of Berry County, I'm really hoping that we see that this gives our police department the ability to have authority over us. And in all respects, there will be no more questions about it. Our police department can do their job. And hopefully the other surrounding communities are also underway with adopting ordinances. We can connect our towns and we could come up with our own trail. And as it was mentioned by Mr. Baldry, the concept is to have people come here and shop at our shopettes and get their gas here and eat at our restaurants and enjoy our riverbank musics and how they come here, as long as they get here safely and everybody's doing the right thing, our police department can work with us and honestly too, there's the inner workings of all of us. We have been on each other, do the right thing, police ourselves. Don't wreck it for everybody. Don't be the dumb one that messes it up. We've tried hard. I mean, we've been working on this for 4 years now, but we tried hard to cover all our bases, Mr. Bishop. We tried very hard. And then this ordinance gives the police department everything that you're asking for. Absolutely everything that you're asking for. I promise you that. They will have absolute control and nobody will ever be able to attest to them. If they pull you over and they say it's a ticket or if they say it's jail time, the judge will have to sign it. It puts it in stone for them with this ordinance.
We have three options. My recommendation is to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2145. If you feel that there's additional conversation, I think we've had 4 years of it in one way or another. At this stage, I'd just like to put this on the books and put it behind us and then leave it up to law enforcement to make it truth. So.
Procedural question.
Please.
We're 4 out of 7. We have 3 yes and 1 no. That's not a majority because it's not like. We have 4 and 0, yes.
Go ahead.
It's my understanding, and I could be wrong, but you need a minimum of, you have to have a majority of the,
It's just of us present, isn't it?
I think it's a majority of the body.
Which would make it a majority.
Okay. That's one double check.
And again, I
Don't
think,
threaten calling the vote, you'll pass without me, it's fine.
I think it's important to understand that we don't have a framework. This is a framework, which is, I think, what we all want. I think just going the way that it is currently, it doesn't address the problem. It just defers it to another authority. I think we want to be more granular in that. I don't think that there's any side angle here other than we had an ordinance that wasn't complete. I think this one is far more complete. It's been vetted by our attorney. It's been discussed by the citizens. I agree with looking at this with a critical eye and I simply want to move beyond this and get it on the books so that we have something to work with. If we find that in the future this does not check all the check boxes, we can revisit it and amend it. I think we just don't know where the holes are.
Mr. President, I'm like 99% sure you need to have a majority of the elected body, so the elected body is 7.
Right.
So you need to have a majority of.
We would have to have 4.
You would have to have
This would have to be a unanimous vote today.
Right.
I understand that.
When it would take to amend it, we change it.
Just like what we're doing now.
What we're doing now. We have a framework instead of nothing, so right now, if they go on their own, they're totally illegal, but we don't know, we're not the issue.
I mean, I think the thing is that we're not holding anybody, the village does not have a say in how we want the operation of these vehicles in our village. The Berry County is, which are far different than the ones, which is far different than I think what our appetite is, this is a little bit more of a refined baseline.
So the village council does have, 3 potential options in front of them. So, one, thing that could be done is, being that a motion was made, if you did get support and the vote ended up failing, is that you could potentially look at alternatives of those options, whether it was denial or if it was postponing it to a later date.
Well, I think my gut check tells me that I would much rather have a framework than not. I think that's what we all want, but I guess, I also don't want to just keep throwing darts at a dartboard that doesn't exist. So, I think a lot of hard work went into this, and I appreciate it. So, we can certainly adopt it, we can reject it, or we can move to have further discussion and put it on the table for a vote. But again, summer's coming, and I think we want to write this in stone before then.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve ordinance 2145.
Support.
We have a motion with support to adopt ordinance 2145, ordinance to amend Article 7 of Chapter 66 of the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Middleville relating to the operation of off-road vehicles within the Village of Middleville. Could I please have a roll call?
John Osterbon,
Aye.
Steve Baldry,
Aye.
Robert Bishop,
Nay.
Mackenzie Peters, Kevin Smith.
Aye.
We'll double check, but
I'm sure that it didn't pass.
right, but we'll double check
That's
just make sure one or the other. It'll be reflected in the minutes and email everybody and all that stuff. So.
Revisit it again.
Yep.
All right, staff reports.
Oh. We had something of interest in a second. So, we did make an offer to, her name's Caitlin Brown, for a community development coordinator position. Planning on starting middle of, March. She starts I think, March 16th, and I'm leaving for Hawaii, March 17th, so she'll be here with Doug training at that time. We did receive one application for a vacant council seat. We need to figure out, when we want to, do interviews for those. One applicable application. So one person that lives in the village, and then we received an application for somebody that lives outside the village. So obviously
When do those do?
they can't serve.
When do they want those?
End of this week would be preferable.
I think there's one more coming.
Okay. Is there a specific date you'd be interested in conducting interviews? We could look at. Beginning of the week of the 9th or 10th. Maybe the 10th, right before council meeting, if you'd be interested in doing that.
Yeah, I guess it depends on whatever time, right?
Yep, could schedule for 5 o'clock if we only have a couple.
Yeah, I think the last time we did that was 30 minutes each.
Yep.
So we give 30 minutes and then 15 break, then 30 minutes. There, and you know, the goal on that is to make sure that the interviews are identical.
Mm-hmm.
So we just ask the same questions to both, and then it seems to go pretty well.
The 10th,
Yeah, 10th.
I'll be at CapCon for that,
Oh, that's right.
rushing back to this.
And convention is 10th and 11th, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Bishop? Okay. So we could potentially do something on the 12th or even the 9th if you wanted to do that too.
I mean, we can, whatever works collectively. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really care.
All right, I'll shoot some dates out to everybody and then we'll figure it out.
Sure, whatever works best for the rest of them.
Okay. And then one note, our Representative Regas, has a proposed bill, proposes to restrict local governments, from awarding exclusive solid waste or recycling contracts without board approval. I spoke with her office today. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of traction or additional support from other representatives on that. It's kind of a knee-jerk reaction from what I understand. In Portage, they went out for RFP similar to what we did here when we selected Republic Services. Long-standing waste hauler in the community had the higher bid, was not selected, and then got upset and decided that the rules weren't fair anymore. So hence this bill. So anyhow, if you have any interest in contacting our representative, obviously she didn't reach out to our office before proposing it, but you know,
Be great to see her once in a while too.
would be, yes. So anyway, it's House Bill 5167, if anybody's interested in reaching out to her for that.
I think I've seen her once, 6 years. So politics are politics. All right, moving on.
Other than that, anybody have any questions? All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, Mr. Powers.
Thank you. So as you'll see, towards the end of the report, the Planning Commission's 2025 annual report is included as part of this. Haven't had a ton of permits at this time of the year. Ordinance committee is working on, some ordinances that'll likely be coming before, the council fairly soon. That I believe everyone here was part of the Kellogg TIF workshop. Have a good amount of updates as well from the DDA perspective. Just wanted to make a couple notes here from some things that have changed since this document was provided to you. Recently had a meeting looking to move the music and market to Thursdays instead of Fridays, seeing there likely to be a significant more impact to the community with the transition of those days. Other thing from the meetings or the committee meetings that we've had for the month of February, there was 16 volunteers that have volunteered time in regards to helping and planning, facilitating whatever each of those committees was doing. So just as an FYI, you know, that's not the final number, just the number for 1 month of people's involvement and engagement with TDA committees. Any questions, anything I can help answer greater detail? Oh, and the music, we would be looking to do the July 2nd. We wouldn't exclude that date.
Nice. Nope, that was good.
So unfortunately, Mr. Rickert is not able to make it today, but his report has been provided to you. If there's any questions or concerns that I can assist with in answering while reviewing his report, I'd be happy to do so. Mostly he's been notifying the public of, you know, it's primarily been just educational notices. I think earlier this week, it was informing individuals about a waste management receptacle.
Good input.
So he's pretty aggressive.
Yeah. It's good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. All right, just liaison reports. Does anybody have any?
I went to the housing commission meeting.
No.
They asked me to point out that they need volunteers on that commission, and if you know anyone, you know, it's about 1 meeting a month. That's a rough meeting. I had a discussion with them afterwards about maybe revamping their public comment section for their bylaws to change some things. But yeah,
Is it well attended?
yes.
Really?
Oh, yeah, everyone attends. They don't have anything else to do. They live there.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Their commute is to come downstairs.
Walk downstairs, yeah.
You have to be a resident of the village to be on the housing commission?
Yes.
Yes, I
Don't know the answer to that.
do
Yes.
believe you do have to be
I didn't.
in the village, not just
Correct.
area code.
Yeah.
Not resident of the,
Yeah.
of Lincoln Meadows,
Right.
resident of the village.
Right. Do they have, how many openings, or what does that look like in terms of when they're asking for volunteers?
You know what, that would have been a really good question to ask, and I will do that the next time.
I think they have two openings right now, I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah, get that confirmed, I think for sure, whatever we can do to get that out there. I have a liaison report from our design committee, which again was, in my opinion, very fruitful. And I'm trying to scroll to that page, so bear with me. I think that, there were a lot of really good discussion points, educational signage, wayfinding. I think the village really suffers from wayfinding mile markers and pointing to parks and trailheads and things like that. I think we could do a much better job of that. There's, as an example, in Rolling Oaks, there's a park there that honestly, I'll bet if I quizzed everybody in Rolling Oaks, I bet there would be people that would be like, there's a park here, because there's no sign. There's really no sign out front. So we had discussions on like how to improve traffic through wayfinding and signage. We did talk about the roundabout, which I thought was actually really interesting with regard to just doing an overlay on how much space it takes up. There are a couple of challenges. I think there's a driveway that's a bit of a challenge, but also there's a small shaving of property to fit the right angle. And in all candor, that is a confusing intersection to begin with, and I think it does, it could use help, I think, just to reduce the confusion that exists there. But so we had a good conversation there, but again, that's something that I believe we are gonna have to talk about a lot. There was some improvement, there's some prospective sidewalk improvements for the downtown. I think we're also discussing, and wait for it, but eliminating the angled parking and going with parallel parking in the downtown area, which would sacrifice 4 parking spots, I believe is what we counted. But we also have a brand new parking lot that we just paved and did some landscaping on that cost $250,000 of taxpayer dollars. So I think I'd like to be able to tie that sidewalk in as a resident. I would like to tie that in a little bit better with maybe some lighting and some signage and so on and so forth. So we talked about those options. We talked about snow removal and the need for consistent with sidewalks throughout the downtown to make them more walkable, but also to make them more clearable. So again, there's a lot more conversation to be had there, but there was also some beautiful design ideas by Williams and Works with regard to some islands in the middle of the road to just try to, as a traffic calming measure. We talked a lot about traffic calming going through the downtown area. So there were some great ideas there. I don't know, like, how did we post the blueprints or just the sketch of what that looks like? Is that publicly available, or?
So the meetings were public meetings, so it certainly was available to the public. And the premise of those meetings were preliminary drafts.
Mhm.
So likely not this upcoming meeting. I would anticipate the next DDA meeting being in April, that will likely have a more formalized document that will be clearly available to the public too, that if adopted, I'm sure we'll end up linking it on our website and everything as well.
The design ideas that we were throwing around were truly transformative, and we are always looking for ways to show that we're reinvesting in our community, and this certainly would do that. So I felt like it was a really productive meeting. And from that, we're done with liaison reports. Moving on to new business, Planning Commission annual report.
It's informational. If you have
Informational.
questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
It's in your packet. I didn't know if you wanted to discuss it.
No worries. I mentioned it in the report, so it's there for information purposes.
Got
It goes into let you know about what the planning commission has done this year, along with, the dollar amounts and types of permits that have been issued in the village too. Cause things can be clear indicators in regards to, various aspects of the village's health.
Yeah, and, restaurant with a drive-through. Was one of the items. I wonder what that's gonna be. All right, moving on to DDA appointment. So, we do have an applicant. I feel like the DDA at this stage is making some really good headway with regard to getting a full board, and, I think they're all rowing in the same direction. I'm really impressed with the productivity of this board so far this year. So, like to just make sure that they have a full board. We do have an applicant, James Tim, who has been he's gone to a lot of the meetings and, is certainly giving of his time already. So I would like to, move to appoint Mr. Tim to the Downtown Development Authority, to a term expiring in April 30, 2030. And do we have any questions or concerns about that?
The question, they at large part, so you're not a resident.
He is not a resident,
He's the only non-resident.
and he is still actively
So he does a
volunteering.
lot in this community.
From here, not living here at this stage. And again, a reminder, he is already actively doing things. Any other questions or concerns?
Was that a motion made?
I'd like someone to make it.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Jim Tim to the DDA. Or
Motion with support. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Tim. In your packet, you have boards and commissions, DDA revenue and expenditures report, minutes for housing commission meeting that needs volunteers. I'm gonna wrap things up here with public comment. Hearing none. Moving on to final council. Mr. Bishop.
I'm good.
Go ahead.
It's just, yeah, appreciate all the hard work and everything, and maybe it's gonna be more money.
Planning commission, we did an ordinance meeting, first one that I was in. There's a magic term that comes up that I know that everybody really likes, the ADU units. It may well be a solution to some housing situations that we have. Now, talking just square footage of what it can be, how far away from setbacks, so on and so forth. But it could be an accessory dwelling for the in-law that has to come live with you, that type of thing. And when I went to the citizen planner class, every municipality, I was the small guy compared to who was there. But they all see that as a solution to their housing problem. And now we have to get down to how many square feet is your lot, already has a house on it. What can you, there's a lot of nuts and bolts that aren't tightened up yet. But I think it's something that's gonna come down the pipe. And I, quite frankly, think we need it myself. But has to be done the right way. That's about it for me, I guess.
We have openings on our board, and I'd like to continue to extend to the community that this is good work. And with a full board, things move very efficiently. With a smaller board, sometimes not. So I encourage those folks that have commentary on how the village is run to get involved. It's not backbreaking work by any stretch of the imagination. It's, quite frankly, it's pretty impactful, and as it affects every resident here. And we don't need a board of yeses. We need good discernment, and we need good discourse, and we need both sides, definitely. It makes sense. So anyone is encouraged to, as long as you're a village resident, to apply, and I would hope that that message gets out there. We definitely could use community-minded people to be on this board, for sure. Outside of that, I have really nothing other than I'm very encouraged with, as we start to approach, oh, never mind. I'll let Craig go.
Okay, just one quick note, you folks asked about, lighting around Hardy's Plaza. I reached out to Consumers Energy, and we're getting, proposals to have a couple of additional lights installed there soon, so.
Good. And there's some nice work happening around that plaza now,
Absolutely.
so I have high hopes for that shopping center. So yeah, with that, I feel like our community is moving in a really good direction, and I think we've done a lot of work and continue to do so. I do want to remind everybody that, you know, we do have great developers that we're working with in the village. There's also others that are looking for free money and are bending the rules as far as they possibly can in order to get free money. And those projects are going to be coming across this bench at some point, and you'll know exactly when. But I just want to reiterate that affordable housing in the missing middle is not 2 or 3 units. It's a large sum of units that are affordable, that people that are in their 20s and early 30s and are single can afford, not a $4,000 a month rental unit that somehow magically checks a box for the missing middle. I think that's ludicrous. So without too much detail, that is in the pipeline, and I just want to encourage everybody when they see that coming up on the agenda to come and speak your mind about how we don't want to use our taxpayer dollars to finance private equity-backed housing. So with that, I believe a motion is in order.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a motion to support. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
Nobody lives there.
I gotta talk to Warren.